First game of our doubleheader. Now comes the second part. Barcomb's TV and Furniture versus Dragoons. And handling the play-by-play, Mr. Dog Schneider. A surprising event, folks. All the way in from California, where he's been doing the game of the week for ABC. Mr. Dog Schneider's here with us tonight. Glad to have you back, Dog.
Well, it's good to be back, Kelvin. Good to be back. Better old Mr. Umpire. Hello again, there's softball fans in the North Country. Dog Schneider back. Just got in from California this morning. We're going to do this barn burner here between Barcomb's TV and Furniture, coming in with a record 11-4. They meet Dragoons with a record of 9-6, right on their heels. Joe Miller hits the ball to the left center field. The left center fielder, Randy Barcomb, drifts over and makes the catch. There's one away in the top of the first. Stepping to the plate for Dragoons. A longtime third baseman for Barcomb's TV and Furniture in a new uniform this season. The new lean, trim look, Mr. Dale Carden. Pitcher Lombard brings a strike to the plate. What's been going on in this league, Calvin, the last few weeks?
Oh, the Beaumart's been cleaning house.
Oh.
Beating everybody in sight.
So what else is new?
Not a heck of a lot.
On deck batter for Dragoons, coached by Mr. Frank Dumas. Shortstop Jerry Davison. Lombard deals to Mr. Carden. He hits a fly ball to left field. Left fielder Jimmy Barcomb with a catch, and quickly there are two down in the top of the first inning. Barcomb's, they trail the Lanes. Lanes tonight's action picked up 2 against Arbeck. They run their record to 14-1. Barcomb sits in at second place at 11-4, and Dragoons at 9-6 in third. And Arbeck, with their 2 losses this evening, they dropped to 7-8 on the season, and they're in 4th place in the National Division. Over in the American Division, a little runaway over there, Mr. Calvin.
What's the
Whistle
standings over
stop,
there?
whistle stop. Well, they went in tonight with a 9-5 record as Davison hits a ball up the middle. A fine fielding play by pitcher Lombard. For the third out of the inning, Dean Lombard with another fine, superb defensive play. And after a half inning of play, we've got no score at the Beaumart. Oh, leading off for Barcomb's TV and Furniture is their third baseman and player coach, Bill Bayshard. And he hits a ball foul down the left field line. Left fielder Gary Dragoon goes over and he can't make the play. Let's set that Dragoons defense. Behind the plate and catching, we got number 1, Dean Tremblay. And le lanceur, the pitcher, Gary DeCoste. At first base, Norm Bono, making a comeback after a 2-year hiatus. And at second base, Joe Miller. Jerry Davison's the shortstop, and Dale Carden's at third and completes the infield. Bill Bayshard hits a ball to right center field. The right center fielder, Frank Dumas, goes over and makes the catch. There's one away in the bottom of the first. Completing that Dragoons defense in left field, we have Gary Dragoon. In left center field, Tim Van Heusen. In right center field, Frank Dumas. And in right field, Jeff Menard. Tim Van Heusen's into the game tonight, replacing longtime performer, former Beaumart player, Tommy Harrigan, who has prior commitments and can't make tonight's game. They are going to miss Tommy's speed and defense and his leadoff ability. As Dale Hawksby, the Barcomb shortstop, hits the ball to left center, and Tim Van Heusen makes a nice catch on the ball. There's 2 down in the bottom of the first. Stepping to the plate, the Barcomb's left center fielder, Randy Barcomb. On deck for Barcomb's TV and Furniture, the Lake Champlain's winner of the John Lowenstein look-alike contest, Larry Belrose. He gives us that great big grin. Barcomb with a base hit to left field. That breaks the ice. That's the first hit of the ball game. So with 2 down, In the bottom of the first, Randy Barcomb's at first base, and the big left-hander steps to the plate. The referees working tonight's game behind the plate, Mr. Gary Bulris and the field umpire, Dennis Phillips. As DeCoste brings the ball to Belrose. Ball's behind 1-0. Pitch is inside and ripped up the middle for a base hit. Barcomb around second base and never stops. All the way around the third base. Belrose to second, and he's safe. Good hustle. Heads up base running by Barcomb. On the hit, Barcomb goes all the way around the third. Belrose motors in the second, slides safely. They got runners on second and third. And for Barcomb's with 2 outs, the big first baseman, Danny Yakey, steps to the plate.
Good throw would have got Belrose at second base. There's a bad throw there.
Who made the throw there? I was watching the runners. I didn't even see the throw.
I'm not sure if that was Van Heusen or Dumas out there. Whoever it was, threw it a little bit too far.
It's a ball, off Cardan's glove out in the left field, and that's going to score 2 runs. Barcombs breaks out with 2 runs in the bottom of the first. What do you think, Calvin?
I think it's 2-0.
E5.
Oh yeah, he should have got in front of that. Took a bad hop, but he wasn't in front of it. He was kind of letting the ball play him instead of him playing the ball. I've seen Dale make those plays 100 times.
And time again. What a steady performer he's been in this league. As the pitcher, Dean Lombard, steps to the plate, and he hits the ball past the shortstop into the left center field. Yakey all the way around the third. Nice. Oh! Again, they missed the cutoff, and they got runners on second and third.
Dragoons is playing like Harbeck did in the first game we saw tonight. Harbeck constantly throwing to third base instead of cutting that runner off at first and holding him there.
Yes, that was an unfortunate situation on Harbeck's part. Did you catch the first game? Oh, they have an intentional walk here. They're going to intentionally walk second baseman Todd Underwood.
I only caught one little play of it.
In that first game?
Yeah, Dick Castine. I'm sure you remember Dick. I put it on just as he was finished hitting the ball, and he was running to first.
Must have hit the ball a ton. Had to hit the ball
He
a
hit
ton.
a line shot, and he was out, and then he dove back.
That's probably why Dick manages in this league and doesn't play.
The people who tuned in early got to see it. It was kind of hard to believe, but
Jimmy Barcomb lifts the fly ball, and that's a third out of the inning. But Barcomb's, they come up with 2 runs in the inning, and after 1 complete inning of play, they lead Dragoons 2-0. Okay, leading off the top of the second inning for Dragoons, their left fielder, Gary Dragoon. Lombard deals a 1-0 pitch. First strike, and he evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a fly ball. It's a foul ball down the left field line. Jimmy Barcomb goes over and makes the catch for the first out of the top of the second. And that'll bring to the plate Le Lanceur, the pitcher, number 2, Gary DeCoste. I like to put in that little Olympic stadium. Is that all right,
oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Calvin? You think Dominic Snyder, my brother, as DeCoste lines the ball to the second baseman Underwood and goes over and makes the catch for the second out of the inning.
no, Dominic never does that.
How is Dominic?
He's,
By the way,
nursing
heard he fell down the stairs there graduation night.
Yeah, he of course wasn't the graduate, but now he's walking down cellar, and
Frank Dumas, the right center fielder, hits the ball to Dale Hawksby, and he goes over to first for the third out of the inning. So quickly, in the top of the second, Dragoons is put down 1-2-3, and after 1.5, Barcombs leads 2-0.
Dominic, or Dick Letourneau as we know him, fell down the stairs Friday night.
Is there any truth to the rumor that Dominic might have been imbibed?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. He just
just a nasty rumor, no.
forgot how to walk.
Well, he had leather soles on, I guess, and that's not too handy in the stairs.
Well, let me
especially with no railing.
let me wish Dominic a speedy recovery, and hope that he returns to the booth in the near future.
I'm sure he's watching tonight. He's your biggest fan, as you know.
Is he?
Oh, yes, the biggest fan.
Well, that's good.
And he'll be glad that you were able to pinch hit for him tonight and fill in. I'm sure of that.
Well, his shoes are hard to fill. I've tried to fill his shoes as far as umpire assignment this season, but it's been hard. I will not disagree with that. And we do miss him. And he did lend some class to this league. Well, that's enough about Dominic. And we're into the bottom of the second as Tracy Bulris. The Barcomb's catcher hits a ball into left field. A little pop fly that falls in for a base hit.
Did it sound like Davison called Dragoon off that, or
Well,
like somebody said, I got it?
most definitely a lack of communication there.
And the man coming in is the man who should be calling that ball.
That ball shades of Jim Tierney's ball against Barcomb's TV and Beaumont Lanes, earlier in the season. As Todd Barcomb gets a base hit to left field. And again, on a simple base hit to left field, Barcomb turns it into runners at second and third. And nobody out. What happened to the cutoff in softball? And stepping to the plate, the right fielder for Barcomb's Jim Tierney, the man I was just speaking about. Hit that little blooper in the bottom of the seventh inning with the game tied at 16. Give Barcomb's a 17-16 as he grounds the ball to shortstop Davison. Checks the runner, goes over to first. Oh, first baseman Bono throws the ball out of play.
Out of play, they'll score both runners.
2 runs will score.
The umpires are going to confer here, but that should score both runners.
Yes, it should. 2 bases on the second throw in the infield. That should score the run.
We'll see what the umpires say here.
Well, the umpires are making a mistake here. Both runs should score. On the second throw from the infield, the runners are awarded 2 bases. But that's one of the mistakes of the game, and we got no outs.
Nobody's contesting
As the third baseman, Bill Bayshard, hits a pop fly in the infield, Norm Bono comes over. And as usual, Calvin, Dog Schneider has lost total control of the scorebook.
Up the scorebook.
Right. Do you have a shot of that?
I don't know if I can get that scorebook or not.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if the fans want to watch his scorebook.
Looks like a big blot of ink.
Shortstop.
Looks like my old history exam used to look like.
Dale Hawksby to the plate. He hits a ground ball down the first baseline. Norm Bono over. And that's the third out of the inning. Barcomb's, they come up with 1 more run in the inning. And after 2 complete innings of play, they lead Dragoons 3-0.
The overthrows have always been a controversial thing.
The umpires are discussing that, Calvin.
See that. They're talking about it.
Right.
But nobody from the Barcombs contested it, so if they had, the umpires might have changed their minds, but they let it go.
Well,
let's I know there's one thing in the rule book that says the man gets the base he's going to plus 1 extra base. And if a man is tagging up going back to second, they might think that he is only entitled to go to second and then to third. But you're saying that on the second throw
I'm saying in the ASA softball rules, on the first throw in the infield, the runner is awarded 1 base. On the second throw in the infield, the runners are awarded 2 bases. That being the second throw in the infield, Davison had checked the runner, gone over to first for the out. Bono's throw to third was the second throw. That is the same as the throw from the outfield. The runner should have been awarded 2 bases. Okay, we're in the top of the third. Barcombs leads 3-0, and to the plate, the catcher. Little Olympic Stadium flavor, La Recevere, number 1, Dean Tremblay. Barcomb's already batted around their order. And Dragoons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're at the 7th man in the order in the top of the third. Base hits is the name of the game. As manager Dumas cajoles his team to greater heights. It's Tremblay. It's a fly ball. The left fielder, Jimmy Barcomb. It's the first out of the top of the third. Stepping to the plate, Dragoons. Right fielder, La Prise Droit. Number 5, Jeff Menard. Jeff Menard's an excellent hitter. I don't know if you've noticed. I don't know if you've had him on many broadcasts this year.
I had him a couple times.
Man uses the whole field, and he can hit with power. He's a good hitter.
And he's a faster runner than you might think by looking at him.
As he hits a ball hard down to the third baseman, Bill Bayshard. He legs it out for a base hit. Coming to the plate, Dragoon's designated hitter, Orville Neto. Getting back to Jeff in our local Sunday League. He plays with Menard's Sunday League team as he goes down to second base. He's safe at second base on a close play. Catcher Bolrus with a nice throw. Underwood fails to put the tag down. Jeff Menard in at second base with a stolen base. He hits fifth behind the premier hitter in this northern tier, Jim Davison. And time again, Jimmy Davison has walked, and Jeff Menard comes through time and time again. Lombard deals to Neto, another good hitter. He hits a slow roller down the third baseline. It's going to be a fair ball and a base hit. Nothing pitcher Lombard could do about that. In the major leagues, would have been called what? Drag bunt? Or good bunt?
Well, it wouldn't have been a bunt.
It would have been a bunt. And it would have been a base hit. Same as in this league. That was a base hit. Dragoons, the top of the third with one away, have runners on first and second. Their left center fielder, Tim Van Heusen, fresh off post 20 play tonight. It's a ball of Danny Yakey, goes to second for the force. So now Dragoons. Runners at first and third. And they'll send their first baseman, Norm Bono, to the plate. Base hit here will get him back in the ball game. Hits a ball down to the third baseman. Bill Bayshard bobbles the ball, and he can make no play as Jeff Menard scores. So with two down in the top of the third, Jeff Menard scores Dragoon's first run on an error by the Barcomb's third baseman. And now they have runners on first and second. And they'll send to the plate their leadoff hitter, second baseman Joe Miller. Miller hits. He got a base hit to right center field. Here comes the runner, Tim Van Heusen. Here comes the throw at the plate, and he's safe. Bono motor into third base. There's a throw to third. He's safe. And Joe Miller at second base. Tim Van Heusen scores Dragoon's second run of the inning. Was that, Calvin? No, it isn't. We're only in the top of the third inning. And with two down and runners on second and third, Dragoons will send their big third baseman to the plate, Dale Carden. Dale, in 2 weeks, Calvin, will be traveling to Syracuse for the Beaumont Lanes tournament team. He and pitcher Gary DeCoste and many of the Beaumont Lanes players, including Mr. John Denny and Peter McMillan, and the Beaumont regulars as they play in the New York State. As Carden hits a base hit. Oh, it gets by the right center fielder all the way to the fence. 1 run scores, 2 run scores. Carden all the way motors into third base with a triple. 2 run score on the triple. And suddenly, with 2 down, Dragoons erupts for 4 runs, and they take a 4-3 lead. They lead 4-3. Top of the third, their shortstop, Jerry Davison, to the plate. It's a fly ball to right center field. Anything in this light is possible. But Todd Barcomb makes the catch. That's a third out of the inning. But Dragoons, with 2 outs, they score 4 big runs. And after 2.5 innings of play, they lead Barcomb's TV and Furniture 4-3.
Beaumont going to the state tournament. I believe this is the first time that they've gone?
Yes, this is the first time that any team in this local area, Plattsburgh, Northern Tier area, has it. Randy Barcomb He leads off the bottom of the third inning with a base hit. Randy Barcomb started the season off at a torrid pace. He was just tearing the cover off the ball. Last week and a half, he's been in a little mild slump. Put his base hit tonight, and that's two. He's 2 for 2.
We saw him here against Dragoons, but went over the fence. Last time we had these two teams.
Larry Belrose with a base hit out in the right center field. Randy Barcomb all the way around the third base. Right center fielder Frank Dumas gets the ball in. Barcomb's quickly has runners on first and third. Base hits by Randy Barcomb and Larry Belrose, and they'll send their big first baseman to the plate, Dan Yakey. With nobody out, we're in the bottom of the third inning. Dragoons leads 4-3. Danny Yakey got on in the first inning on an error by the third baseman. Yes, getting back to that New York State tournament, that's the first time any local team has ever ventured in this kind of competition. As Dan Yakey gets a base hit in the left center field, he scores Barcomb. Bell rolls over to second base. And just as quickly as that, the game is tied. We're tied at 4, and we're in the bottom of the third inning. Competition in Syracuse, I would imagine, is going to be fairly tough. This is the New York State Championships.
I believe it's from everywhere except the city.
Yes, everywhere except the city of New York. And stepping to the plate, pitcher Dean Lombard.
And how did the Beaumont decide to become a Class B club?
Well, that was on advice of State Commissioner Mr. Francis Mott. We're an unknown product, or the Beaumont Lanes is an unknown product, and we also don't know the competition. They don't know us, and in our first year, it's safer to go Class B rather than Class A.
C or D.
Well, Beaumont Lanes figures that this is only a 2-year venture. Most of their players are married with children. As Lombard rips the ball up the middle, and it's by the left center fielder all the way to the fence. Belrose scores. Danny Yakey all the way to the plate from first base, and Dean Lombard into third base with a triple. And as quickly as that, Barcomb's TV and Furniture quickly scores 3 runs in the bottom of the third, and they regain the lead 6-4, excuse me, as the second baseman Todd Underwood hits the ball to the third baseman. Dale Carden makes a nice play, takes a bad hop on him, goes over to first base for the out.
Nice play by Carden.
Nice play. Excellent play. That ball took a real bad hop. Carden battled it. He's a battler. That son of a gun there can get right down in the mud and battle with anybody. Hate to wrestle him in a mud wrestling contest. Don't see a winner there. Don't see any losers.
How about Mrs. Carden? Would you wrestle her in mud?
No comment there. I'm not going to get involved in that. I'd wrestle Mrs. Castine in the mud, though.
Well,
She's one hell of a wrestler.
I'll be sure to tell her.
Jim Barcomb hits a foul ball in the third baseline.
We might line that up. If we do, we'll cover it.
What Mrs. Castine are we talking about here?
I assume
Mrs. Judy or Mrs. Holly? Oh, maybe Calvin have a tag team.
That's not a bad idea. We'll leave it up to the
Calvin,
viewers if they want to see it.
Right in, folks, if you want to see a tag team mud wrestling. Jim Barcomb hits a fly ball. Left fielder Gary Dragoon with a rifle arm comes to the plate. I don't know. I think Lombard left early, but that's for the umpires to decide.
See if there's an appeal. I think they're going to.
Looks like they're going to make an appeal. I think he left early. We'll keep it whispered here until the umpires make the decision.
Tell here.
Whoa.
Umpire Boris said he didn't.
So there's 2 outs. As the catcher Tracy Boris comes to the plate. Base hit to left center field. So with 2 outs, Barcombs continues the rally in the bottom of the third. They'll send to the plate a man who singled in the second inning, their right center fielder, Todd Barcomb. Todd's getting the start tonight over their regular right center fielder, Larry Belrose. as he hits his second base hit of the evening to the right center fielder, Frank Dumas. So Barcombs, the runners on first and second, they continue the inning, and they'll send their right fielder to the plate, Jim Tierney. Unfortunately, I don't know what Jim did in his first at-bat, because I completely missed it. But he did something.
He did something, and here he is again to try to do something else.
Unfortunately, we don't know if he's going to better his performance because...
all of our
well,
viewers sit there with their scorebooks, and they keep score during the game
it's the only way to watch a ball game. Getting back to Larry Belrose, he's the Barcomb's regular right center fielder as Jim Tierney lines a ball to the shortstop to end the inning. But Barcomb's come up with 4 runs. And after 3 complete innings of play, they lead Dragoons 6-4. Leading off for Dragoons in the top of the 4th inning will be their left fielder, Gary Dragoon. Getting back to that regular right center fielder from Barcomb's TV and Furniture, he's an avid Baltimore Orioles fan. And as everyone knows, the Monday night game of the week was Baltimore and the Yankees. Big game. Dragoon hits a ball foul down the left field line.
Baltimore finished second in that game, didn't they?
Yes, they finished second in that game. Dog Snyder's also an avid Baltimore fan. So, Calvin, keep your camera on your shoulder and the comments kind of low. We're getting back to Mr. Belrose.
For anybody that's an Oriole fan.
Mr. Belrose, the avid Oriole fan, listened to the game on the radio and forgot to watch TV.
Is that right?
Oh.
Oh, he probably doesn't get the TV guide.
Dragoon lines the ball up the middle for a base hit, and that's by the right center fielder all the way to the fence as Dragoon. He motors on into third base. He opens up the top of the 4th inning with a triple.
Took him about 8 steps to get to third base.
That's that long stride.
Yeah,
Calvin, and if you and I had that long stride, we'd still be on top of this game. And coming to the plate, Dragoon's pitcher, one of the finest defensive pitchers in the Northeast, Mr. Gary DeCoste. That comes from a man that knows what he's talking about. Because I've seen a lot of them, and this man here can stop them up the middle. He's a blanket up the middle on defense. He hits a ball to right center field. It looks like it's in the gap, and it is in the gap. All the way to the fence. That's over the fence for a home run. Gary DeCoste with a 2-run homer. Gary DeCoste, I believe that might be his first home run over the fence. As he meets his teammates and they meet him at the plate. Gary DeCoste with a big 2-run homer to open up the top of the 4th. And that ties the ball game. In the top of the 4th, we're tied at 6. And that'll bring to the plate the Dragoons' right center fielder. At Olympic Stadium, they'd know him as numero set, number 7, Frank Dumas. One day my dream is to work Olympic Stadium. Who else will line up with Wallach, Raines, and Ubi Brooks? Oh, Dominic, one more thing. What the hell's the matter with the Cubs? Lombard deals to Dumas, and he hits a ball to the second baseman, makes a nice play. He's going to make a throw, and he's out at first base on a bang-banger. Todd Underwood with a nice play behind the bag at second base to retire Dumas. The play goes 4-3. That's the first out of the top of the 4th. And that'll bring the catcher, Dean Tremblay, to the plate. Dean flew out to the left fielder. In his second at-bat, we're yet to know what he did in his first at-bat.
God only knows.
Nope, this is his second at-bat. That's right, too. They're yet to bat. He's yet to bat his second time. Lombard deals. Oh, he caught the outside corner of the plate. Dean Lombard's one heck of a pitcher. He's a good slow pitch pitcher. Keeps the batters off balance. Throws them high, throws them short, throws them deep.
Good all-around athlete.
Yes, he is. And he's a good defensive pitcher. Dean hits the ball to the shortstop, Hawksby, and he goes over to first base for the out. That's the second out of the inning. Score that 6-3, and that'll bring the right fielder, Jeff Menard, to the plate. Jeff in his first at-bat singled, and he scored the first Dragoons run. We're in the top of the fourth, and we're tied at 6. Up the middle for a base hit, and that's his second hit of the evening. Like I said, Jeff Menard uses the whole field, and he's a good hitter. Loves to play the game. He's a hard worker. Works 12, 14 hours a day in his farm in the Morris Forks area, and he still finds time to get to the games every Tuesday and Thursday and every Sunday. He's also the president of the local Sunday League. Sunday League. Don't be laughing, Calvin. I've always had trouble with the English language. Must be all that grass I've been eating. Dorval Neto takes a bad hop behind the second baseman, Jeff Menard. Like you said earlier in the game, he can motor faster than people realize all the way around to third base.
I think he's definitely faster than Lonnie Bayshore.
Did you have the clock on Lonnie tonight?
No,
early in the game.
Muddy track, and I didn't think it'd be fair.
He got a base hit tonight in that second Harbeck game.
Yeah, line shot up at the middle.
I thought his neck muscles were going to pop right out of his neck. He was straining every muscle in his body.
Well, he hadn't hit one past the pitcher up to that point in that game.
Hey, whoa, Dragoons running a steal. They don't go down to second base. I cannot understand in slow pitch softball with 2 outs and runners on first and third when they make the steal attempt at second, why they just don't go down and get the out. It's unbelievable. I just don't understand it.
Catcher probably didn't think he could get him.
Tim Van Heusen hits a slow roller down to Dean Lombard. That's the third out of the inning. But Dragoons in the top of the fourth, they battle back on the strength of the big 2-run homer over the fence job by Gary DeCoste. And after 3.5 innings of play, as Beaumont shortstop Mark Guerin bids adieu, we are tied at 6. Well, softball fans, as usual, Dog Snyder has been shown to be wrong. We played an inning thinking it was 6-6. Well, it's 7-6, and Barcomb's lead. As their third baseman, Bill Bayshard, leads off the bottom of the fourth inning. Bill Bayshard steps out. He's trying to catch time. 7-6, Barcomb's leads. Bill's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Instead of laughing at the plate, I think he should step up there and get a hit and break the slump. And he does. He goes to left center field with a base hit. Almost got by left center fielder. But he settles in at first base. Bill Bayshard with his first hit of the evening.
All seems to enjoy himself. Complete opposite of the Beaumont manager.
Who always has a scowl.
Yep.
Well, I think maybe the pressure,
Saying Bayshard doesn't have any pressure?
Oh, Joe Miller at second base. Boots the ball.
Miller just had some pressure and...
Yep, he had some pressure and booted the ball.
Thinking about the runner instead of the ball.
Well, getting back to that pressure as Randy Barcomb, the left center fielder, comes in. He's 2 for 2 in the ball game. It's the old axiom in sports. It's harder to stay on top than it is to get to the top. As Barcomb hits a ball deep to left center field, it's over the left fielder's head. Bill Bayshard, he'll score. Dale Hawksby motoring to the plate. No! He thought wisely. Third base coach held him up. And I think wisely, Jerry Davison's got a gun for an arm. And that sets up runners on second and third. And that'll bring the big designated hitter, Barcomb's own version of Larry Sheets, to the plate, Larry Hits a ball foul. He just wanted to get that ball out of play, I believe. I think he's looking for the new ball. And I think he's got it. Larry's 2 for 2 in the ball game.
The way both clubs have been hitting, that ball must be pretty well beat up by now.
He hits a ball deep to right field. The right fielder, Menard, he camps under it at the fence. Makes the catch, and here comes one run. Here comes Barcomb. And he scores. 2-run scores on a fly ball to right field. And Barcomb's, they'll stretch their lead to 9-6. The manager from Barcomb's, he comes over, and he's going to start a rhubarb here with Dog Schneider. He says he scored 10. Well, we'll give him 10.
Somebody's got to keep score up here.
Somebody should. He's right. They did. They scored 3.
Now, we put up a scoreboard last year, but nobody seems to want to use the darn thing.
Danny Icky steps to the plate with 1 out. It's a ground ball to Davison at short. A low throw, not handled by the first baseman. That goes E6. So, Barcomb's with 1 out. They got a runner on first with the error. And they'll send to the plate their pitcher, Dean Lombard. Dean's 2 for 2 in the ball game tonight. He scored a run. He's 2 for 2. And he's pitching a fine game. Barcomb's continues to lead 10-6. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. Lombard hits a ball foul. They make a nice try on the ball. They don't come up with it. Now the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes on Dean Lombard. We got 1 away in the bottom of the 4th inning, and Barcomb's leads Dragoons 10-6.
That ball fell between over 80 years of ball players right there.
Yep.
Between Dean and Norm Bono.
Playing in this league for a long, long time. Lombard hits a fly ball to right center field. Right center fielder Dumas goes back on the ball, makes the catch. Yankee tags and goes to second. 2 down in the bottom of the 4th. There's a runner on second base.
I believe McGee Filio is no longer playing this year.
No.
So with the retirement of Filio, Roy Hebert and Dick Van Heusen.
Pat Welch, Gary Favreau, Guy Juno. A lot of good ball players not playing this season. Here comes the throw at the plate. It's cut off by the pitcher, and Yankees scores the 11th run. Underwood with a single to drive in a run. Barcomb's NL lead 11-6. Todd Underwood, he motors into second base on the throw. And that'll send to the plate the left fielder. 0 for 1 in the ball game, Jimmy Barcomb.
I believe this is the first year, my point, with McGee and Roy and Van Heusen.
That's hit by the third baseman as Underwood, he comes around third. He'll score. Jim Barcomb, he stays at first, and he's got a base hit and an RBI.
I wish these ball players would stop hitting while I'm talking like that. My point was that for the first time, some of the guys who started this league back in 1967 are no longer playing. So this league no longer has the players who started out that first season.
Well, there's no doubt that we miss those players. Tracy Bulris, it's a fly ball to left center field. Tim Van Heusen, he comes in, and he makes a catch. Barcombs, they come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runs in the inning. And that goes with their 7 runs they had previous. And they now lead Dragoons 12-6. We think, and we're going in the top of the 5th. Hey, I was leading off for Dragoons in the top of the 5th inning. They trail 12-6. Be their first baseman, Norm Bono. He got on by an error by the third baseman. His first at bat as he hits the ball down to the shortstop. Hawksby goes over to first baseman Yankee. And there's one away in the top of the 5th inning.
You ever notice the resemblance that Bono has to Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock of Star Trek fame?
How can I come back on that? Yes, I have noticed that resemblance. As Joe Miller, that brings to maybe a sequel being filmed, Search for Norm?
The Search for Bono.
I think if you had a search for Norm, one place you might find him is at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, as Norm is an avid Montreal Expos fan. Along with the manager Beaumont Lane's Dick Castine and their pitcher Lynn Bayshard. Those three gentlemen predict the Montreal Expos will win the National League Eastern Division by 3 games, and they'll clinch in New York in late September. Ball's fouling out of play.
So you figure the Yankees will be playing in Olympic Stadium in the World Series this year then, huh?
I think the Blue Jays and the Expos may be in the World Series. I don't see the Yankees weak at third base offensively. Their platoon system, I don't think it'll work at third base. Don Baylor's not having a good year. Joe Miller hits a fly ball to left field. The left fielder Barcomb for the 2nd out of the inning. Let's see some of the other shortcomings. Well, the shortcomings of the Yanks, number 1 shortcoming, Willie Randolph makes an error early in the week against Toronto. And Steinbrenner, he wants to shop him to San Diego for Wiggins. You know, I mean, it's senseless.
Steinbrenner is not known for his patience.
Well, Willie Randolph, the man he considers, they consider him, when Nettles is there to be the Yankee captain, gets consideration for the job, and that's a lot of nostalgia. It's an important spot. Makes one error against the Blue Jays 2 weeks ago, and they're going to shop him, for a guy that's had his problems. Been in a drug rehab center, and it makes no sense. It's Cardin with his 2nd hit of the evening to right field, and he's going to go all the way around to second base, and he's in standing up with a double. So with 2 down, Dale Cardin, he tries to fire up his troops. He motors into second base with a double. And that'll send the shortstop, the left-handed hitting Jerry Davison, to the plate. A few other Yankee problems. I don't think in the last few weeks at Righetti's, they threatened to make him a starter. He balks at it. And then his next few times out of the bullpen, he's not too sharp. Cowley's been hurt. Let's face it, how far are they going to depend on Bob Shirley to carry him to a pennant? And 40-year-old Phil Necro.
46-year-old Phil Necro.
And I admire the man for being... I like Phil Necro, but I just don't think at his age that he's going to carry a team to a pennant. As Jerry Davison hits the ball to right center fielder. Dragoons, they score no runs in the 5th inning. And after 4.5... Barcomb's TV and Furniture, they lead Dragoons 12-6. Todd Barcomb down the left field line with a foul ball. Foul ball.
Close.
We're in the bottom of the 5th inning here. Todd Barcomb, he's 2 for 2 in the night. And he came close to getting his 3rd hit of the evening. But he hit a foul ball. A game of inches, foul down the left field line. When Sandberg goes down with an injury, they got Say at 3rd, Bo at short, Chris Spire, the 2nd baseman. Oh! Up the decos, he knocks it down. Almost knocked him over, but as usual, he stayed with the play and he went over to first base for the out.
Barcomb hadn't given up on that one.
Yeah, he might have made it. Usually when it goes into Gary Decos' glove, it's an out. That's why a lot of batters turn around and they walk to the dugout. Jim Tierney to the plate. Jim's yet to get a hit this evening. He hits the ball foul down the right field line. That ball's out of play. I was mentioning that Cubs infield. Then you throw together, you got Davey Lopes, sometime left fielder, taking Gary Matthews' place. Rick Sutcliffe, he's not having the year he had in '84. Tierney hits a ball to the shortstop. He can't come up with the ball. Oh, hard hit. We're going to give Tierney a base hit on that. Coming to the plate, third baseman Bill Bayshard. He's 1 for 3 in the evening. He'll come in here with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning, and his team leads 12-6. It's a ball to Davison at second, over to Joe Miller for 1, over to first for 2. That's a double play. So, Bill Bayshard, he grounds into the double play. He goes 6-4-3, and that ends the inning. And we'll go to the top of the 6th with Barcomb still leading Dragoons 12-6. Top of the 6th inning. Dragoons, they trail 12-6, and if they're going to do something, they got to do it now. They'll send their left fielder, Gary Dragoon, to the plate.
Getting back to that National League East, it's my humble opinion that the best team in that division couldn't finish more than 6th in the American League East.
Oh, geez, I don't know. I won't agree with that. You're playing a different kind of ball as he rips the ball foul down the left field line. More artificial surfaces in the National League. More fastball pitchers in the National League. And it is my opinion that they're better hitters in the National League. I wouldn't
Sure can't tell it by their batting averages.
Well, you got to remember that in the American League, number 1, you got the DH. The pitchers do not hit. As Dragoon hits a fly ball to the right center fielder, Todd Barcomb makes the catch. That's the first out in the top of the 6th inning. I'm a National League fan from way back.
Well, that artificial turf, that's supposed to be an aid to the hitters, and the batting averages are still lower.
DeCoste, he follows up his 2-run homer with a ball that bounces over the left center fielder's head, goes all the way to the fence, and Gary DeCoste, he'll follow up the home run with a triple.
A bad hop triple.
It's a bad hop triple, but at the Beaumont in left field and left center field. That field out there is unkind to the defensive players, unkind.
They don't ask how it's done, they just ask what the score was.
Right. We're not artists. We're not here to paint a picture. We're just here to sell a darn thing. Dumas. Oh, left center fielder. He makes a nice catch in that ball. That's not an easy catch to make. DeCoste, he scores. That cuts the Barcomb's lead to 12-7. Randy Barcomb's a fine defensive outfielder. And offensively. I'm not taking anything away from his plate play.
Dragoon's awfully quiet now.
Yes, they are.
These teams that get down, that's what happened to Barcomb's last week against Beaumont. Barcomb's got down, they just quieted right up. Came in with a lot of enthusiasm. I like the teams that keep their enthusiasm whether they're 5 ahead or 5 behind.
That Lane's team will keep their enthusiasm.
Now they got a man with a whip at the helm.
Oh, Hawksby with a fire over to first base with a cannon. He gets Dean Tremblay. That's the final out. The top of the 6th. Dragoons, they come up with a 1 run. They'll cut the Barcomb's lead to 12-7 after 5.5 innings of play. That's what we got for a score. We got Barcomb's with 12 and Dragoons with 7. Now leading off the bottom of the 6th inning for Barcomb's be their shortstop, Dale Hawksby. It's a ball to the first baseman, Norm Bono, comes over, tags the bag for the first out of the inning. Hawksby's retired. 3 unassisted. And that'll bring to the plate the man who's 3 for 3 in a ball game, the left center fielder, Randy Barcomb. If we're going to choose a game star for this game tonight, Calvin, what do we choose? Who do we choose? Randy Barcomb at 3 for 3? He's 4 for 4. It's a ball to left center field. Gets his 4th hit of the evening.
Well, we'll go over that scorebook real well there. And
you're going to go over this scorebook. You better get a computer because this is a mess. But I do know that Randy Barcomb is 4 for 4 in the evening.
We think
and they'll send their designated hitter, the big left-handed hitting DH. Is it Larry Sheets? No, Larry Belrose from Barcombs. He hits a fly ball to right center fielder. Right center fielder's got to go back on the ball. He don't make the catch. Barcomb all the way around the third. Need better motor because Belrose is right on his tail with those long strides. Larry Belrose into second base with a double. That's his third hit of the evening.
Barcomb had to hold up, see if that ball was going to be caught. That was hit to left center field. I do that same thing all the time. I see a ball hit to the shortstop, and I say it's hit to the third baseman. And
as in that first game tonight with Arbeck, when Dick Castine thought the ball had dropped in for a base hit. Dove back into first base, knocked the runner that he had on first base off the bag, and they tagged him for an out. I got to see that on film.
Was that Castine's first hit of the year, or what?
No, Castine has
used to making outs. That why?
No, that was his. He has yet to get a hit this season. In fact, that was his second at bat of the season. He got his initial at bat in the D&D game Friday evening. Flew out to the left fielder. So Yakey, he draws an intentional walk with one out in the bottom of the sixth inning. The bases are loaded. Pitcher Dean Lombard is stepping into the plate.
One of the first games we carried over this 2 years ago, Dick Castine ran all the way into third base with a triple.
And then collapsed, had to have oxygen applied to his face and carried out the field.
They rolled him off the field. They didn't carry him.
Yes, and he can roll. Oh, what a pitch right on the front corner of the plate, and had the 3-foot arc minimum. Nice pitch. Hits a ball in the air to right fielder. Right fielder comes in hard. That's a fair ball. Drops in. Barcomb scores for one run. Larry Belrose right on his tail for another run. Lombard all the way around the second base with a double. 2 more runs score. And Barcombs, they stretch their lead to 14-7. They'll send to the plate with one out. Their second baseman. What do they call that in Olympic Stadium, the second baseman?
I call them the second baseman.
Le deuxième but, the second baseman, Todd Underwood. And he hits a ball to left center field. That's over the left center fielder's head. And that's to the fence. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score. And Underwood all the way around the third with a triple. Todd Underwood with a triple.
2 more nails in the coffin here.
2 more nails in the coffin. 14, 15, 16-7. And we're in the bottom of the 6th inning with 1 away and a runner on third base. And that'll send to the plate the left fielder. He's got 1 hit tonight in the ball game, Jimmy Barcomb. He hits a ball high in the air to left field. Left fielder goes back on the ball, makes the catch. Underwood tags at third base, and he scores a run. He capitalizes on his triple and scores. You have any idea what the score is right now, Calvin?
Must be about 17-7.
Well, let's. We should check that with Barcombs or Dragoons. Let's check it with Barcombs. They're leading. They're probably more agreeable to telling us what the score is. As Bullrus hits a ball down to the third baseman, Dale Carden with a cannon over to first. And that completes the inning. After 6 complete innings of play, Barcombs in the 6th come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I believe they lead 17-7 with an assist from the umpire, Monsieur Gary Bullrus. So after 6 complete innings of play, Barcombs, they lead Dragoons 17-7. Roll. So we got the 7th inning. Barcombs, they lead 17-7. Dragoons, they got to come up with 10. That's obvious. And they're going to send the man who's 2 for 2 in the ball game. He hits a fly ball out in the right field. The second baseman, Todd Underwood, he goes out and makes the catch. That's the first out of the inning. So Barcombs and Dean Lombard, the pitcher, they're 2 outs away from ending this. And that'll run their record to 12-4. Dragoons will go to 9-7. As I said earlier in the evening, Arbeck, they'll go to 7 and 8. And they all trail Beaumont Lanes as Neto hits a ball, a shot down the left field line over the left fielder's head. Orville Neto motors into second base with a double.
Playing kind of shallow for
Yes,
Neto.
well, with a 10-run lead in late in the ball game, you play shallow. You try to cut off the base hits. You let them have anything over your head. It's just like in the major leagues when they play the lines. You know.
Give up the single and give up. Oh, you're not giving up the single.
No, you're giving up the double, but you're trying to cut off the single. You're trying to stay away from a big inning. The 1-run, the 2-run inning in softball, more or less will not kill you. It's a big inning. It's a 7-8 runs. Van Heusen, he hits a ball by the second baseman Underwood. Neto goes over to third. We've got to charge the second baseman with an error on that. E4 came up a nice hop. If he'd have been in front of the ball,
letting the ball play him instead of him playing the ball.
stepping to the plate, Norm Bono to the plate with runners on first and third. I don't think Dragoons will run in this situation, being down by 10.
Leonard Nimoy at bat.
Bono hits a ball to left field, and that's over the left fielder's head. As Neto will score, Van Heusen motors around third base, and he'll come all the way around, and he'll score. Norm Bono with a 2-run double in the top of the 7th inning. Tim Van Heusen looks like he may have hurt himself, may have pulled a muscle. He has had injury problems this season in high school baseball and in post-20 baseball. Tim just off a post-20 big win last evening. He's pulled a muscle in the front of his leg. He's also been bothered by an ankle this season, and he's had a serious back injury.
Post-20 still undefeated?
Yes, they are. They were rained out this evening, but they'll come back tomorrow evening. It escapes me who their opponent will be, but they are still undefeated. And let's congratulate Coach Wally Vanderhoff and his assistants for a job well done. As Joe Miller, he rips the ball up the center fielder. Center fielder bobbles the ball. Ooh, jeez. I think Bono might have scored on that play.
Well, he's not going to take any chances.
Right. With one out.
Dale Cardan coming up here. He's just as well on third as he is at home.
Carden hits a ball as pitcher. He goes to second for one. Not in time over at first base as Bono scores for the 3rd run of the inning, and that cuts the deficit to 17-10. But there are 2 outs. Runner on first base. That'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Jerry Davison, who's 0 for 3 in a ball game this evening. Jerry looks like he's got a wax bat. It's the cleanest piece of equipment on this muddy Beaumont field. Well, I can't say muddy, but it is a little moist this evening.
Cleaning it. Probably all filled with dirt before when he cleaned it off.
He represents Dragoon's last chance in the ball game. As Lombard falls behind on Davis and 2 balls and no strikes. We're in the top of the 7th inning. He battles back with a strike, and the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Barcomb's lead 17-10. There's a runner on first, and there's 2 down.
2-2. I think the umpire said 2-2.
Ooh.
Now it's 3-2.
The count goes full. Davison hits a ball in the air to right center fielder. Right center fielder can't make a play on the ball. Bounces off the fence, and here comes the 11th run for Dragoons as Davison slides into third with a head-first slide a la Pete Rose. And he triples to drive in another run. Dragoons still in the ball game. They're showing some fight here. They're not going to go down. Team with Frankie Dumas, Gary Dekos, and Dale Carter in the lineup. They're not going to die. They're going to battle right to the end. We know these guys.
Yep.
The old Barcomb's TV and Furniture team that used to go head-to-head with Beaumont Lanes for so many years. Dragoon hits a fly ball deep to left field. The left fielder goes over, makes the catch, and that's the final out of the game. And we got a final score. Barcomb's TV and Furniture, they score 17 big runs behind the 4-for-4 performance of their left center fielder, Randy Barcomb. They go on to beat Dragoons 17-11. Any thoughts on a game star for this evening's game?
Well, we can't look at the scorebook to help us decide.
Well, no, but we sit here and we see a man who's 4-for-4, and then we've got another man who's 3-for-4 in a DH spot. Randy Barcomb, 4-for-4, scored 4 runs. No telling how many he drove in if we had an official score other than Dog Schneider. We could tell, but my vote goes to Randy Barcomb as game star, and how about you?
We'll send that scholarship to the Peter Pan Play School in his name.
That's a $10 scholarship to the Peter Pan Play School in the name of Randy Barcomb for $10.
The game player of the week.
The player of the week in the Lake Champlain Slow Pitch League. And now, softball fans in the North Country, this is Dog Snyder, along with the engineer and producer and color commentator Calvin Castine, wishing you a fine week. We'll see you Saturday evening. We'll see you maybe Sunday evening.
We'll see you at the parade, Dog. It'll be at the parade.
We'll see you at the parade in Ross's Point in the July 4th celebration. Remember, softball fans, softball field.